He said he's Taharka Bay? Toronto Johnson? I called for a Moorish court on brother Toronto Johnson. And anybody who's riding with him with this scandal with these videos of me and my wife frauding the people.
Check it.
I never saw my brothers and sisters serving these packages when I was with Daweed Ali and them and Taj and them used to come to Chicago.
I laid them old boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway. Sleepwalking, they keep talking. I probably catch a charge and I don't care what any say. Nobody. Yeah, I'm the people's grand sheik and the people's grand sheik. Ain't seen a man I can't beat. Only the gods is my equal. You mortals, you just my sequel. You just my sequel. But the 85ers, dip divers, trying to symbolize us. You already dead. Who done got up in your head? Rent free. You wanna know who sent me? Who sent you? Leg, head. I tried to pull you out the bed, but you got up all groggy. Started talking real crazy, eyes foggy. Couldn't see through the fog. Then I had to bring the dogs, barking all up in your ear, acting like you don't care. Oh, you don't care? Like you don't preserve life. Oh yeah, and you really don't care, right? Oh, you don't care, right? Well, we gon' really check that, bet that, respect that. Since you said you ain't scared to die, I laid them young boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway. I laid them old boys to rest. They was sleepwalking anyway. I'm the people's grand sheik. I ain't seen a man I can't beat. I laid them young boys to rest. They was sleepwalking anyway. I would take you on any day. Michigan, New York, Cali, where you at? What you thought? From that town to Baltimore, everybody on the road is all raw. They ready, choppers. I don't really think you want the problem. Hold up, wake the thought up. Back to a law, leg, head. I try to get him out the bed, sleepwalking anyway. Sleepwalking anyway. Wake up, keep talking. Sleepwalking anyway. Wake up, I don't care what any say. Nobody. I'm the people's grand sheik and the people's grand sheik. I ain't seen a man I can't beat. Never. You mortals, you just my sequel. You mortals, you just my sequel. Only equals is the gods. You mortals, that's my sequel.
He said he's Taharka Bay?
I see.
Toronto
I
Johnson?
see dead people. Hey. I see dead people. I lay them old boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway.
I never saw my brothers and sisters serving these packages when I was with Daweed.
I lay them young boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway. Hey, people saying I ain't never met a man that I can't beat. The gods is my only equal. That's it. You mortals, you just my sequel. That's it.
I call for a Moorish court on brother Toronto Johnson. And anybody who's riding with him with this scandal or with these videos of me and my wife frauding the people.
I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bay front line till the law call my number. If you a friend of the Moors, then you a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold
the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you you wasn't black, proved it with straight facts. You tripping off Trump, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. The same people talk European how to bathe, and looking at women buying European hair. No love for self, but do the men really care? Hell no, cause they got a love for Europe. Whole generation chasing pills, weed and syrup. Yeah, they love Lil Yachty, Tucci, Gucci, Kodak, Amigos, Ross, Lucid. But when the love for the woman look like your mother, I guess they say it's all black when it's under the cover. Now cypher, I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bay front line till the law call my number. All you super scholars holler, this era for the workers. You ain't building on the ground, then you worse than a twerker. You look and sound good, but that's only on the surface. Probably working for the people. Now tell me what's your purpose. Ain't worried about your homie, but know that I know every mo that rock a fast. He ain't my bro. Yeah, you know I ain't slow. I seen it all before. How they try to kill the prophet, it was all for dough. And some got it right now. Don't say that I'm not down. I'm coming for my vast estate. I want my town, my sheriff, my stores, my school, my nation. Sick and tired of the procrastination and debate. Y'all keep hating when love is the savior. You don't love yourself, so you can't love your neighbor. That's why you kill and fight and marry out of your race. If you ain't for Moorish world, then get out of my face. Cause Chinese love China, Italians love Italy. If you used to love the Moorish world, come on and build it with me. Let's go. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, oh yeah. I be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. Be more. I be that more you gon' remember. That town. I be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. LA. I be that more you gon' remember. New York. I be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bay front line till the law call my number.
Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? Check one. I'm just trying to share a little bit. Y'all know I'm ready. You know what we do, man. I'm coming. I just got to share this. I'm running behind, man. I'm a busy man. Shoot, I'm important around here. How y'all doing? I'm back in the building, family. Now, Yasmin, I sent you the link. You know what I'm saying? I sent you the link. I don't know why you didn't hit the link. I sent you the link in your let me see. Hold up. There go Yasmin. I'm gonna add you to the new flyer as I come out. I'm waiting for Robert L come in. In fact, let me send Yasmin the link again. And she gonna be on the new flyer when I redo it after the show. I didn't get a picture of her, but let me make sure she get the link. Hold up. How y'all doing? Hey, family, listen. I went live from the new location, right? And when I went live from the new location, I was streaming, you know, and you know, we used to going hardwired, and I sent it back. Okay. We used to go on hardwire, and so the stream was really grainy. And so coming real soon, hopefully hopefully by the end of this week, we're going to be hard grain at Moorish World TV Studios. And once we are hard wired. Once we are hardwired, it's going to be a doozy. As you can see, we're about to talk about something constructive tonight. So we expect at least 25 people in the chat. We don't expect 1,000. We expect about 25 and a half people in the chat. Whenever we set out to talk about something that means something, you know what I'm saying? Whenever we set out to talk about something that can change our situation, we're going to be stuck with about 25 of us. This is the real people, the thoroughbreds. You know what I'm saying? Let me send this to my sister real quick, Sister Yasmin. And I just sent you the link, sis. It should be in your messenger. Well, before we start the show, let me exit out some of these windows that I got open also. Let me just share this with you, family. I don't know about you, but when you go on social media, right? Oh, what did I do? When you go on social media, and Liberty Bell says, Cypher, I'm hyped. And I want y'all to tune in and chime in when I put the link in after about 45 minutes of the show. But when you go on social media, anybody ever just scroll down social media and then you end up with booty in your face? Press 7. Anybody ever do that? Anybody ever look at the short clips and all of a sudden you got booty in your face? Anybody ever do that? Am I the only one that do that? And I know some of you brothers take a minute like, I do. I be like, hold up, man. I catch my lowest. I'm like, hold up, man. What the world is going on here? Anybody ever do that? And sisters, we're going to get with the brothers too. We're going to get with the brothers too, because I know y'all scroll and y'all see the brothers, and for a second you have to stop and say, hold up. You know what I'm saying? But I do it all the time, because what I do is I do a lot of scrolling to see what's going on in social media, to see what type of topics that we could talk about, what type of topics can we address, and what makes sense. I noticed that a lot of people are not scamming as much as they used to. Praise be to Allah. If y'all notice that, we still got Billy Carson out here selling a dream. But it's not a lot of scammers out here. Anybody know any scammers out here right now? Before we bring our panel in, anybody know any scammers? Anybody? Name some scammers out here. Anybody know any? I don't see them scamming like they used to. Ali Muhammad, he's not scamming like he's not on the forefront scamming like he used to. Brother Polite, he's not scamming like he used to. Who else? Who else? Nobody's just scamming no more. They done took me out of business. I'm out of business. So we gotta talk positive now about uplifting fallen humanity, because at this point they took me out of business. They not scamming. The Moors ain't scamming with the fake license no more. You want a free pass? You sovereign. You a sovereign. Ain't too many. Hey family, I'm serious. Serious. All jokes aside, who's out here trying to sell fake redemption right now? For real, so we can investigate them. Anybody? Anybody? Somebody? Y'all see? Do y'all know, when I started doing Moorish World TV, I've always, and this is the funny part, people don't understand. When I first started doing Moorish World TV, my approach was always bam, 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 bam. Sinetta, Shaka Atmos, the crazy Moors, always. That's always been my approach. If you go back to some of the first videos that I ever did, you will see that it always been bam, 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 bam. You can't find no videos where I was just passive. You know, I used to bring Moorish scholars and teachers on, like Lord Abba, Grimion El, Ali, Bey, Sharif, even had brothers from the nation, you know, Risa Islam been here. What's my other brother? Dr. Wesley. I mean, we had some good guests here to help build the platform. But you know, the claim to fame is exposing the frauds. We call it what it is. But I'm looking around, and I don't see about any frauds. In fact, let me respond to this real quick before we bring everybody in. Sister Robin, why your camera closed? What you doing? Somebody, King Moab, say, what about remixing the temple's teaching? You know who I'm talking about. I seen the Facebook thread. King Moab, tomorrow night, I was supposed to do the video because the sister dealing with Ali Muhammad was supposed to come on tomorrow night, but I'm going to save her till Tuesday. We got a snow day. Or I might do a double hitter. On Moorish World TV 7, MWTV 7, I'll be doing a presentation maybe early tomorrow, breaking down the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali with this fake remix of a Moorish New Year that they call January the 15th. They done created their own New Year and they call it Moorish New Year's. They celebrate, they do all sorts of stuff. And I'm going to break it down tomorrow, how that's misleading and how that is most likely 9 times out of 10 not accurate according to the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Fake customs. I mean, if you want to make a custom, but don't apply it to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Don't apply it to, I already said Master for a Moment because I got something coming with Master for Muhammad too. I got a debate coming up with a brother. Man, we got a lot of stuff coming up. I got a debate coming up with a brother who stands with Master for Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, and he claims that the Nation of Islam is an original teaching. And I'm telling him that it's only a remix resold to us by the way of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. But with that being said, let me introduce my guest real quick. We have Sister Almatina Bay. Sister Almatina Bay, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from, sis? And then don't give them too much. Just give them a little something.
Islam, Grand Sheikh, Islam. First, I rise and give all praise to Allah, all honors to Noble Drew Ali, and all honors to everything that has been given throughout the day and the course. And honors to you, Grand Sheikh, Islam. I am originally from Chicago by way of now being in Phoenix, Arizona. I am new to the fold, but not that new. Love the wisdom, love the teachings of our Grand Sheikh Taharka Abu Kebe. Islam.
Go ahead now, sis. Making me smile over here. With that being said, I got my beautiful sister, Amatullah Abdul Rahman. Sis, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you from, before we get started in this conversation. Come on, sis. You always chiming in, and you know I love you because you always bring wisdom to the conversation, and I'm so happy to have you here so we can bring some wisdom to this conversation to normalize our experience, whether it's Islam, Islamism, the Hebrew experience, the Kemetic science experience. We got to normalize it here before the people. So, sis, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from, and let's get busy. Hold up, your mic. You have to unmute yourself. There you go. Oh, there you go.
Khalid Halik to all my brothers and my sisters. Islam to you, Taharka Bey, and to the sister, Martina Bey. I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I have been a Muslim for 20 years now. Yeah, I'm old, y'all. And I just enjoyed the information that you bring. I don't watch a lot of social media because if it's not something that's going to stimulate my mind or teach me something or something I can kind of think about, and say, is this something we need to be trying to focus on or not? I don't watch it. So I just want to say I watch your show all the time. And my little girl, I have to sit her down because she's talking about, I be the mother you gonna remember. I be the mother you gonna remember. She's only 2. So like, sit down.
Hey, sis, let me tell you something. Before COVID, I used to travel to a lot of temples and a lot of Moors watch the show, but they don't comment or anything like that. And they little children always will run up to me and grab me and hug me. And I kind of figured out they think I'm a cartoon or something. They be so excited. My 3-year-old be running around. Taharka Bey, front line, Allah, come on, number. He can hardly talk and say the words, but he be running around singing that. But appreciate you, sis. We about to get busy. And now let me bring in Sheikah's Robin Ezel L in the building. Peace and love. Tell us a little bit about yourself and let's get busy. You got to unmute yourself.
There we go. Islam family. Islam. First off, I will give all praise to Allah, and I give honors to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Now, Camelback on all the honors that were given previous. It's an honor to be here this evening with you sisters. I'm Sister Robin Ezel L, and I'm here in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm originally from Phoenix, Arizona, and spent quite some time in upstate New York. I'm Islam, and again, I'm happy to be here with you all this evening.
Okay, good. So we're about to get busy right now. I'm hoping that my sister will hit the link. My sister Yasmin, who always come and share her wisdom with the Moorish World TV audience. And so, family, I need y'all to share this. The reason why I need y'all to share this is because when we start talking about Nepal jumping around showing her buns and her breasts, you know, everybody in here, it's about 400, 500 people in here to see some buns and some breasts. But when we start talking about how we can redirect our sisters from not showing their buns and their breasts, we got about 115 people up in here. Something is wrong with that picture. The shame and the glory has been misplaced. We're doing things backwards, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, Sister Yasmin, I sent you the link. Matter of fact, if you hit this link right here, sis, don't nobody else can hit the link. Only Sister Yasmin can hit the link. Make sure you type your name in there, so I know it's you, Sister Yasmin, and I'm gonna let everybody else in. So before we start, the first thing that I want to do, I want to show y'all a few things, right? Back in the 60s, we had a certain pride about ourselves. You follow what I'm saying? We had a certain pride about ourselves when we was in the struggle. And real quick, let me share. This is a picture from the 60s where it's a parade going on in the 60s. Not sure what parade, but it's a parade going on, and we see how people are dressed. Come Monday, if the weather permits, there's going to be a Martin Luther King Jr. parade. There's going to be a bunch of skimpy dressed young sisters. There's going to be some homosexual guys looking like young sisters. They're going to be twirling batons. They're going to be throwing them in the air. They're going to be talking with the lisps. They're going to be doing something that is fairly new to our culture. In fact, 20 years new. It's not saying that we didn't have these type of behavior in our culture before, but we always had a more disciplined culture. In other words, people knew what they were doing were wrong, and so they didn't let it overflow on everybody else and let it all hang out. You follow what I'm saying? But today, it appears to me that everything is hanging all out. And let me share this picture with you too. I don't want to do it, but I gotta do it for the sake of the conversation. When we look at Cardi B, her daughter, beautiful child, is plastered over the internet, imitating her mother with this image at this young age. This is plastered over the internet. You see what I'm saying? So the question becomes, how do we begin to redirect that sort of mentality within our community? Because it's either redirect the mentality or lose a generation of sisters. And last but not least, we know that our sisters, such as y'all, are the first teachers of humanity. So if that being the case, how do we change the narrative? Let me start with Sister Yasmin. Let her introduce herself, and then we'll start with her. I'll give you the first question. Yasmin, sis, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
Yes,
I don't know why you got a buzz there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you got an echo.
I do. I don't know why. I don't have anything else on. Do I need to come out and come back in?
Let me hold up. Yeah, try to come out and come back in.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll go with Sister Almatina Bay. Sister Almatina Bay. When we go on the internet, right, and we see sisters shaking it, you follow me? We see sisters dropping it like it's hot, if you will. What is the first thing come to mind? Have you ever scrolled and seen that before? First of all,
Islam, Grand Sheik, I have. The first thing that comes to my mind is that we, as women, we don't know how to identify because we're lost. Everybody wants their mom, you know, whether we got it when we were a kid or whether we're grown now, we still want our mom. We want that attention from our moms. And if we see it, we want it. And yes, they're doing it in a bad way as far as letting everything hang out. But if you don't have anything to measure by, like we discussed in Sunday school and we discussed in Friday Holy Day, if you don't have anything to measure by that is discreet, then that's what you're going to get.
Let me move to Sister Amatullah. When you've been a Muslim for 20 years, you're fully covered, but then many people may, just like me, I'm misunderstood. I'm pretty sure you're misunderstood. We all misunderstood when we choose a certain path in life. But we know we're not crazy. They can think what they want about us. But when you look out into the world and you examine our sisters on the level of social media, I'm talking about the extreme side. What comes to your mind after you have walked the path and, I'm going to say, found some form of discipline as well as what you consider to be modest, and you look out there and you say, whoa? Do you say whoa, or what the first thing comes to mind for you? Because in contrast to your lifestyle, it has to be not saying you always was a Muslim, because for 20 years. So what are your thoughts when you see this?
Assalamu alaikum. All praises be unto Allah. Well, to be told, because y'all know I'm on this encounter raw. So, to be honest, me, before I began to fully cover, and before I became a Muslim, revert, for me, it was not being taught. Not being taught by mom, not being taught by dad. Because it's not just mom. I always tell people a little girl's first love is her dad. That's her first love. And unfortunately, my daddy couldn't give me that. Not because he didn't want to, because my daddy went to the Marines and it messed him up mentally. So he couldn't give me that. So I didn't know how to act around a man. I didn't know how to act around public, because my mom, she became somewhat of a single mother. And her thing was be strict. Don't let her do nothing. 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 But not telling me why. So then I see other girls doing certain things. And I'm like, well, my mom ain't tell me why. She's just trying to be strict. But it's always a reason. And I will always hear my great grandmother say, leave something to somebody's imagination, sweetheart. Don't talk on the phone to people so long. It's time to hang that phone up. You're talking a little bit too much. And even now I have to sit back and say, what does she mean? The longer you on the phone, the longer you telling your business. And it's some things you don't need to tell. It's some things everybody don't need to know. And when she said leave something to his imagination, men are visuals. And we just gonna get raw today, ladies. Men are visuals.
Let's go.
And I tell young women all the time, he already had sex with you in his mind, baby. He don't want you now. So you wondering why the one you want don't want you. Because he already didn't had you. So we as women have to teach our children, you know, a man is visual, a woman is emotional. So don't give him everything. As most people say, well, I'm going to buy the cow when I already had the milk several times. So most of the women out there, as the sister said, they want attention. And a lot of them haven't been taught why not to do it. Just because you say don't do it makes me want to do it. But if you tell me why not to do it and you live it in front of me, then I truly understand or truly have a choice.
Indeed. Indeed, sis. Well said. Let me get Sister Yasmin. Yasmin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Is that better?
That sounds better, sis. Sis, where are you from? Can you just tell us one sentence about yourself, and then we get right into it?
Okay. I'm originally from New York.
Oh.
I grew up in the Nation of Islam.
Oh.
Temple. I went to Sister Claire Muhammad School, so I really did grow up in Islam as a child. So, with that being said, I wore all the garb, and now I live down south, but I'm in California right now.
Okay,
and thank you for allowing me to be on your platform today.
Absolutely, sis. You know, we've been trying to get this done for a minute. But now, Sister Yasmin, when you scroll through IG, do you look through IG? Do you look on Facebook or the shorts on YouTube? And we see our sisters that are partially naked or trying to imply that they want to give a part of themselves to the viewer. Have you ever witnessed that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When you see
in
that,
real life too.
Come to your mind? Yeah,
in real life.
Yeah.
In real life.
When you see that, what's the first thing come to your mind? Do you feel that it's become a norm? Have you become numb to it? Or do you look at it and say, whoa, what has happened? What comes to your mind?
It's disrespectful, for one thing. I see in right now, well, my home now is in Mobile, Alabama, and they do that in the at the gas stations, exploiting themselves, dancing on top of cars. They do it all. And I do believe it's for the attention. They want to be the center of attention. And it's a lot of lacking in our community as far as fathers. And I do agree with Sister Amatullah about that. The only memory I have of my father is seeing a picture. So I didn't have my father in my life. It was just me and my mother. He probably came around occasionally, so I didn't have that guidance. So at the age that I am now, I look back on how I used to be, and it was all wrapped around low self-esteem and abandonment and needing to be loved, to feel that love. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the young girls nowadays, they're looking for that attention. They're trying to be popular. And then social media doesn't make it any better because they bring on the, I don't know how to say this, but they bring attention to a Black woman's body. You see more Black women exposing themselves as opposed to the white women. Absolutely. And at one point in time, our bodies were shameful. I read I read about that. They thought Black women, we were all shapely, but it was something that was looked down upon. But now look at it. Everybody's trying to get surgery. Everybody's trying to get big butts, lip fillers, the whole 9 yards. So I think social media and television, videos, IG especially, I really don't go on there too much because I don't know how to work it, really. It's just too much going on there for me. It's too much nonsense going on, and it's just like a group. It's like a trend. And I don't understand why these young girls are doing that much. It's exposing themselves. I mean, it's okay to look cute and put on a nice dress and all that kind, but a lot of them are going too far.
Right.
And it's a lot of rape going on. You don't even have to date rape. They don't even want the prostitutes. They out here getting these young girls twerking. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole new world now. And we're going to have to try to teach our children better. And I have a 17-year-old. And I found out that being straightforward with her and open with her, she can come to me. I'm not going to ever tell, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, you can't do that. That's not right. She's never going to come to me. She's going to turn her back on me and go to somebody else in the streets that's going to tell her wrong. Our generation is different. It's nothing like I came up. You know, I had to be in the house when the street lights came on and all that kind of stuff. It's nothing like that anymore. So we're going to have to start looking at what's going on within the community now, so then we know how to address it in a certain kind of way. We just can't go back to old times and do what our mothers and fathers did to us. We can't do that anymore. We have social media and we have the music industry. Number one. Number one. And it's sad, but you never, ever see any white people. Well, you guys call it Europeans, right? I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Europeans, you don't ever see any of those in the media like you see us. We either doing drugs, we either drinking syrup, we either showing our behinds, twerking, tits out, kissing women, kissing 3 men at a time. You don't see white people doing that. So
Yeah,
I
they
feel
got a
like
space for that. They call that they little nasty little section on the internet that's between them. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. And we sit up here and exploit ourselves looking, and it looks stupid. Because I mean, looks only last a little while. You know what I'm saying? So they need to be looking at the fit. That's what I teach my daughter. Morals and standards. I started her at 2 years old, 3 years old, talking to her, had a crime because it was embarrassing to her, but I wanted to let her know what was going on out there. I'm not going to keep anything from her. And everybody's not fortunate to have a mother. Everybody's not fortunate to have a father. So we need sisters out there in the community trying to teach them something different. You know, they chop off, but they flip off at the mouth, true enough, but there's a way that you can talk to them. Because I have a teenager, I have a 23-year-old son, and I have a 29-year-old son. So therefore, I've gone through certain stages that I know that I've collected things in my thought and things that I did wrong that I know now that is wrong that I won't do with them now. You know, the younger children. So what I believe is today we have the media and the music industry to blame for all of this. They're capitalizing off us. And we are so free to give away what we got without no question.
How about
You know? So
let me chime in real quick. And I'm sorry, Sister Yasmin, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. Family, we're not going to tolerate any disrespect of any of these sisters on this panel. I'm blocking you immediately. It's crazy because I've seen a few comments and I blocked a few people off the top. But I've seen a few comments, and it's such a shame that we have such ignorance amongst us that before we even hear somebody talk, we begin to pass judgment. And Martin Luther King birthday is about to come up. And one of the things that he said, whether you like him or not, whether you think he was too soft, whether you think he was Christian or whatever the thing you may think about him, who knows? But one of the things that he said is that we judge by the content of your character. And so you can't really judge the content of someone's character until they open their mouth. You know what I'm saying? One can move and not say anything, and you're going to have to guess. But the moment that they open their mouth, then you can see the content of the character, because the words will reflect what is in the mind of that person, when in the internal workings of that person. And so many people begin to say silly stuff before one even opened their mouth. And this got to be eradicated from our community too. Sometimes we just got to shut up and sit back and just have some patience and see what's going to be said. With that being said, let me bring in Sheikah Robin Ezel L. Now, I don't know what goes through your head when you scroll through social media ready to post something. I don't have a clue. So this is going to be new to me. What goes through your mind when you see young sisters on social media? They play as if, and I'm going to keep it a buck here, they play as if that they're giving, they even got some memes where sisters are faking as if they're giving oral sex. Anybody ever came across those? They do all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? They even got memes or TikToks where you got little children joking about their mothers about, young mothers about sex. Anybody ever seen them? They got all this stuff going on there. I don't know if y'all ever seen anything like that, but anything in relations to that, when you see that, what comes to your mind? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother Angel Snup7, speaking up for the Moorish World TV citizens. He said, Moorish World TV citizens in the house. I want to welcome all. See, we don't have fans here. We have Moorish World TV citizens, which means this is your show. We don't have fans. We don't have followers. We have citizens. So shout out to all the Moorish World TV citizens. Because when you're a citizen of something, you have the power to control the situation, not with your voice and your vote. And so whatever you say bring to the platform, that's what I bring to the platform, by the way of the Moorish World TV citizens. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to Angel Snup7, a superstar here on Moorish World TV. Pardon me, Sheikah. Come on with it.
Islam. Well, it's I was right before the show. I just created a TikTok for myself to do some advertising with some things on social media, and all I have is my profile picture, and I didn't do too much. They asked you what categories you like and what you're into, things like that, and I didn't even make many selections other than outdoors because I like the outdoors. And so when I go to my profile, I'm automatically being fed this, what is for me, like what I would like, and I'm going down the thread, and it's all these videos of, like you say, like, women or girls showing off their bodies, just all different types of things on the thread. And I didn't even choose this. I didn't even choose these types of this genre that was being fed to me through TikTok. And I was just thinking how there's like absolutely no filter. There's no filter anymore. So our children are the ones that are utilizing most of this, these Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok platforms, and there's absolutely no filter for our children. So they're just being fed all of this I say graphic, information, and that's what comes to my mind. There's no filter for our children. There's no, everything is being compromised now. They have access to all of this information, and it's normalized. So if our young sisters and even our young brothers are being fed this information, and it's normalized, and no one is even monitoring what they're doing, because who's monitoring their child on their phone all day? What are they watching? What are they seeing? What is being fed? What is being put into their minds, into their subconscious, into their souls? Even in school, they're being educated by the school system, and what are they learning? How involved are our parents in the curriculum of what is being fed into our children, as far as like they're even being told about they're being taught about, you know, homosexual relationships and different things in school. So what are, you know, when are we going to take accountability for, you know, what our children are being exposed to? And being that society has made it like society has made it so that we're not able to, well, it's frowned upon when we try to raise our children and teach our children a certain way, to be a little bit, to be more conservative, that some of these things just aren't acceptable. And it's this huge disconnect. There's this huge disconnect between, you know, the elders, the adults, and the children nowadays. Because I really, sometimes I can't even understand. I feel like, how am I going to relate with this young sister, you know, who is this 11, 12, 13 years old, twerking, thinking that, you know, acting a certain way, showing off your body, being promiscuous, what have you. Like, when did that become the norm, and how do I wrap my brain around it and really be able to relate to the sister, and what is she seeing, what is she thinking, what is she going through, what is she be like, even home life. You know, a lot of these young, you know, our children, they're going through so much, and it's gonna take it's like layers to this. So I think it's a lot of, I don't even really know where we would begin as far as to take any of that back from what our children has been exposed to, within social media and the television and in school and music. Our parents used to talk about that music. This music ain't like the music back in our days. And I said, oh, you're just old. But it is true. Like, it's not. It's the music isn't the same. Hip hop isn't the same. Our girls are looking up to, you know, Cardi B's and Meg Thee Stallions, and these are their idols. These are who they look up to. This is the standard of beauty that they're giving, you know, to our daughters, our children. And that's how you look, that, you know, how good you look, how good your body looks. That's value. That makes you valuable. And, you know, and our daughters, that's what they have to look up to. How do you compete with that? I think you're muted, brother.
Let me say this. I mean, I'm gonna go to my sister. I'm a tool in a minute. One of the things that I want everybody to consider is the biggest star in the 60s was Aretha Franklin, as well as in the 70s. The biggest star. And she carried herself in such a way that the world not only enjoyed her art form, but also respected her all the way to the end. The last few years, even right now, Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion, supposedly, she's a horse now, they become stars, and this is what you get. This is what you get. So the question is, what took place? Because something had to happen. What took place where we look at the image of the, because my sister Yasmin talked about music. Everybody talk about music. Everybody talk about entertainment. What took place? Can anybody put their finger on it? I want everybody to think about it. What took place from the Supremes to the Aretha Franklins to the stars of the 60s and 70s that carried themselves with such grace to now our stars, the bigger stars, are either butt naked, partially butt naked, or having a conversation about her sexual proudness. If you can, Sister Amatullah, what do you think happened with that transition from that proud sisters of the 60s and 70s and the early 80s to now in the 2000s that everyone that comes out, sisters, because we got a conversation for the brothers too, but everyone that comes out has a sexual conversation. What do you think happens, sis?
So, I don't know if you on this planet are old enough to remember the Freaknik in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, indeed, I do. I ain't never go though. No, I'm playing. I'm just playing. I ain't never go there.
I don't know if you guys remember Playboy, the magazine,
Yep.
Hustler, the magazine.
Right.
So what the Europeans did was to enter things into our community to get money and to get fame. These are two things that a lot of Black people want to get. They want to be famous and they want to have money. So the media keeps saying sex sells, sex sells. And I'm sorry to all you Jay-Z fans. I know I'm gonna get a lot of stuff in the comments, but for him to say that too, sex sells. It did sell for white people because they were the first people that did it, the Europeans. Playboy was something everybody thought was, ooh, if I can go to the Playboy mansion, if I could see this, I gotta have money to go to the Playboy mansion to get the Playboy bunny. And a lot of people don't know that Victoria's Secret spent off the Playboy thing. So this came about because it was purposely introduced into our community. So let's take a real close look. We're going to look at Gladys Knight.
Let's talk, sis.
We're going to look at Aretha Franklin. And I'm even bring a little closer. We're going to look at Whitney Houston.
Come on now.
So now, you never saw them play Whitney Houston like that. You never saw Whitney on the stage shaking nothing. I don't know if she could, but you never saw her do it. She had to have some thug in her to fool with Bobby. So let's just look at this. So for us, like I said, the two things that we like, a lot of us, not all of us, some of us, we want the money. Because if we got the money, we can be famous. If we can be famous, we get the attention. So that all rolls up together. Europeans sit back and they want the money too. But they want to use us as a pawn. They want to keep us in slavery and inferior to them, so they think. Because the greatest mind that has ever been on this earth belongs to a Black man and a Black woman. So they had to put something in us to keep us away from our education. Because in the 60s, your mama gonna tell you to live in this house, girl, you're gonna be a nurse, you're gonna teach, or you're gonna sew. One of the two. You're gonna bring some money in this house, little girl. You're gonna learn how to fix a meal, little girl. You're gonna learn how to upstand your husband, little girl. You're not gonna be out here on the streets, little girl, doing those things, little girl. So the Europeans said, that's too strong. We got to put something in there that'll take them quick. Now, I'm not going to talk about the rap music too much because at first, when rap came out, it was positive. You had KRS-One telling us what was going on, what was going down. They did it in a way for us to understand. Then, you had Q-Tip with his little soft voice. He won't tell you what's going on, and things like that. But they slowly, MTV, slowly introduced more naked women into rock and roll. So what we do, because we want money, put more naked women into our videos. So it started with the rap thing about now she twerking. First she wasn't twerking, she was bouncing it. Then it's explicit. Easy them came out with the explicit. You really can't say nothing. You really couldn't go in the record store if you was under 18 and get NWA album.
That's right.
You couldn't get it. So somebody started complaining, saying, a European saying, hey, you can't do that because it's freedom of speech. So here we go, because we liked the NWA. They had a message. They talked about what they were going through. But then you want to enter in other things. I'm not saying NWA, but other people came in and want to talk about how fine she is, what she doing to me orally, and things like that. So they said, well, if we can do this, we can make people pay to come to the Freaknik. In Atlanta, it's legal for you to strip and take off your clothes. You can get a license in Atlanta to strip. A license to take off your clothes to strip. A license. During the Freaknik, all in the streets and everything. Anything goes. Making money. Becoming famous. Cardi B, we all know she was a stripper. We all know she started off a reality show. And I look at their children, especially Beyonce child, because they showed a video of Blue Ivy when her mama was grinding on her daddy. She sunk so low into that bleacher seat. I said, Beyonce should have stopped right there and said, oh my God, that embarrassed Blue Ivy. She was a little girl, but that embarrassed her. So it's true about it's what the mother does, but society brings the money into it and tries to make it hard for a mother and a father to make a decision. But I'm going to say this to all of us. I'm listening to my little girl right now. She in there with her daddy. I'm listening to what she listens to on the iPad. Because as soon as I hear something I don't like, I go in there and say, no. You can't watch that. You better watch Zachy, him talk about Allah. You better sit up here and like you like Taharka, you better keep on saying I'll be there more than you can remember. Because you can't hear none of the rest of that mess. Because I'm listening to her. Listening to her. And I can't catch her all the time. But you got to put your children around people that have like minds and like hearts and practice like you. Because you can't be around them all the time. But I believe that it was the money and the fame that was introduced to us as Black people to get us to degrade ourselves to become where we are now. That's how I believe that it came. That's my belief. That's my opinion.
And if let me thank you, Sister Almatina Bay. If you could add on to that, when did you see if are you into entertainment and all of that, Sister Almatina Bay?
I'm not into it a lot, like music and all that, but I do listen to it because I have two beautiful young daughters too, and I listen, like they're on YouTube a lot, and they watch the makeup, and they have the gays doing the makeup instead of the women doing the makeup. And when Cardi B came out, Cardi B was the thing, and I was like, wait a minute.
But what I wanted to ask you is, were you into the entertainment is not deeply into it, but did you notice the shift as I illustrated from the 60s or the 70s or even the 80s, if you will, to what we got now?
Yes.
Did you see the shift, and what did you think about it?
I felt that it was like an all-out war on us as the so-called Black. They stopped the music from being a message to us and started to dramatize us as back on the plantation. This person is for sale. That person is for sale. Look at their features. Look at the woman's tits. Look at the woman's butt. Look at the man, and he's good for childbearing. And, it went totally left, totally quick.
Right.
And you can't even understand it. It has no message. It has no meaning except for death. Everything speaks death now. Death to the young women, death to the men, death to the character, death to the family, death to your lineage. All of it.
How about Sister Yasmin? Yasmin. Now, if you was in the NOI, if you was in the MGT, I'm pretty sure that you have something to measure it against. Now, when the change began to shift, we had the Queen Latifahs that was wearing the African garbs. We had the Moni Loves. We're talking about entertainment at this point.
That's right.
We had the Moni Loves. We had the ladies first, first. And we had the Proud Sisters coming to the forefront. And then the shift begin to happen,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on how that shift took place?
Well, it like the sisters were saying, the Europeans wanted to make more money, and they did that by using us. They didn't want the positive messages to be sent out. They wanted to keep us under control, and by doing so, they made them follow a script. You either do it our way or you're not going to get famous. So I think that's exactly the way that happened.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly behind the scenes. I think that is exactly what happened. It was too much positivity. I remember Public Enemy. I loved Public Enemy. They had a lot to say. And all those older rappers, LL Cool J, all of them, they just rap. They weren't violent. They didn't have a lot of women on there shaking, and then half the women on there they were clothed.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden they twisted. They wanted to put more out there. They wanted us to put more violence out there. Violence and sex and drugs. That's what's out there now. And all that combination, that's killing us. Like I said before, you don't see no white people up there rapping with no AK-49s and 9mm and talking about blow his head off if you come down the street. You don't see none of that. You see it only in the Black community. So
Yeah.
I feel like they are trying to really destroy us. I really do. I have a 23-year-old son. I'm gonna tell you this. He was in trouble starting around maybe middle school. I had a hard time with him. He has gotten in trouble with the law before. But I'm gonna tell you right now, he does not go anywhere. 23 years old. He told me, Mom, it is so violent out there. You can go to the store and get your head blown off. He said, don't you know there's 10, 11, and 12 and 13 years old waiting to kill you? Listening to that music,
Yes.
popping those pills, drinking that codeine syrup. All this is glorified in the music. And with that, you got to bring the women, because women love money. And if you're going to rap and you're going to make money, put me in your video. And the more you shake it, the more you're going to make it. That's the way they put it out there. And it's so appalling. I don't understand what's going on. I mean, money helps, but money is not everything.
Right.
And if you look around us, we have more people in poverty than anything else. And the ones that's making it are back on the streets, and people are killing them. Those same rappers. So that should tell us, those young people, something, but they just don't care.
And Sister Yasmin, before I go to the Sheikas, sis, you just hit a real strong point. When we look at all of these rappers that's talking this stuff, I was reading an article about Young Jeezy. His son was in a prestigious school, but he talked about thugging, popping guns, popping pills, smoke, dro, pop pills, get your gangster on. But his child goes to a prestigious private school. You see what I'm saying? And when you look at a lot of these artists, whether it would be Rick Ross, whether it would be Cardi B, or whether it would be the latest top charting rapper, male or female, woman or man, they will talk this stuff, but do the opposite. They not busting no guns. They not doing none of these things. So to your point, I wanted to underscore that. Sheikah's Robin. Now, I know that you love some hip hop. So I'm pretty sure that you had seen the shift. Not only do I know that you love hip hop, I know that you think West Coast hip hop is top notch over East Coast hip hop. I think you're a little bit off, but nevertheless, West Coast hip hop was the hip hop that brought a lot of gangster, you know, posturing, if you will. But the gangster posturing in the beginning, yeah, it was against one another, but it also was with against the powers that be. There always was a message in there. Like people think F the police set it all off. But no, West Coast music always spoke about the police brutality. They always talk about the marginalizing of us. And then they talked about banging on each other too. But one thing that blows me away is that when you look at old West Coast music, you don't see, you hear them calling the bees, coming up the NWA and all that, but you don't see a lot of the imagery until later. You know what I'm saying? You don't see a lot of the imagery till later. Now you hear Ice Cube and NWA, but the imagery that we see now is just far over the top. From the West Coast point of view, when you was into hip hop, how did that shift happen? How you go from a Tone Loc to she's holiday. No matter, just don't bite it. She's y'all remember that? There ain't nobody listen to that. But you know what I mean? How does that shift happen from your experience? Did you witness that happen?
Islam, yes. Yes, I did. I spent a lot of my time in the East Coast too, because my mother was in New York and my father was in Phoenix, but I was raised in South Phoenix. And I see the shift because we got a little Cool J. We're talking about Round the Way Girl, and you know how it was the shift for me. It was because I remember NWA. That was the shift for me, and when I saw the difference in the hip hop and when you say the imagery wasn't there, I feel that being in that type of environment, being in a gang related type of environment, that's when crack was being more introduced into the neighborhoods, and there was a lot of gun violence, and this is what we were. This is what we were being exposed to. This is what we could relate to. So when we heard the music, it was easier for us to relate to it, and it was being glorified in a way. It was telling a story, and it did have some good messages to it, but you can't make some of those lyrics. You can't make those good lyrics. We also had like Too Short too. So we talk about the B's and the B's and the H's and all that stuff. That was I used to listen to the Too Short and NWA and all of them. So MC8 was one of my favorites. But it grabbed hold of us, and because we could relate to it, because that's what that's what we saw, and it was like it was telling our story. But as always, it was also perpetuating the violence and the disrespect of women, disrespect of us girls, and also us not just us girls, young girls at that time, not having what's the word I'm going to use? We were being just the disrespect and the degrading of the women. That we took that on ourselves as a young girl. My experience. So and then the young boys, they took on the part of the gun violence and the gang banging and the selling of drugs and what have you, because that's what we related to. So they were using that music and that message, I feel, to to get to our youth. And it then that's where the shift more so happened from my experience.
Islam.
Islam.
Sister Amatullah, we're going to go around one more time, and then we're going to talk about how do we approach this. Sister Amatullah, I want to ask you, and I'm going to ask everybody this. How does it feel when it's a saying in our holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America that woman is made man's, and this is a universal principle, so it doesn't matter what your school of thought is. It's a universal principle, and I'm pretty sure everybody on the panel would agree with that woman is made man's reasonable companion and not a slave to his lower desires. And I'll add lowers in that so just to underscore, but not a slave to his passions. You feel what I'm saying? To his lower passion. In our holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it speaks to that a woman is man's reasonable companion and not a slave to his, and I want to add his lower passions, not a slave to that. And when we look out in the world, it seems like the men are dictating the behavior that we seeing pushed. In other words, we need you to take this off. We need you to get less dressed. We need you to shake this more. We need you to do this and do that. How does that translate in your mind that our sisters are, for all intents and purposes, are becoming reduced to a subservient level to a man's lower desire? And for money, obviously.
So y'all not about to like my answer.
No, I'm a lover, sis. That's why you on here. Let's go.
It ain't the man doing it to the woman. It's the woman doing it to the man. Listen, the woman is the first teacher of everybody.
Right.
You got your name from a woman and your game from a woman. Your mama taught you your game. Your mama taught you to be outspoken. Your mama taught you to not listen to everything somebody say and not go back and do your research. She taught you that. She told you somewhere to how can I do that make sense? Did you make sure that made sense to you? Your mama taught you that. So I'm going to break it down real simple for everybody. If you think about a pimp and a prostitute, he'll tell you about his bottom age. She the one that run the show. She the one that get the game. She the one tell him she need to dress like this. She need to dress like that. Because if I dress like this, he gonna give me this right here. He need this right there. He need this right there. We are the ones that make it okay. A man will follow a woman to the end of the world. Let's look at this. When women was walking afros, a man be in the club, somebody, she looks so sexy in that afro. I ain't looking at that afro. When we start rocking the European look, that's what y'all like. Whatever we do is what you guys will follow. So we as women got to stand up. Because as soon as we said, I'm that B, that's when y'all start saying, that B, that baddest B, that D. That's when y'all start saying that. That's when y'all start doing that. Because we gonna teach regardless. A man gonna look up to a woman regardless because you came from us. We have a nurturing way. And don't forget that women are conniving sometimes. Women can be very conniving. And a man gonna follow suit. But what the men is falling off is God gave them the right to lead, but they don't know how to lead. Because the man ain't been in their life to teach them how to lead. And the Europeans made it where the woman had to lead. We don't know nothing about being a man. I can't tell a man nothing about being a man. I can tell him how I want him to treat me as a man, but I can't tell him how to be a man. I can't teach him how to be a man. I can't do that. But I sure can teach him how to get over. I sure can teach him the game. I sure can teach him how he can use another woman to get what he needs and what he wants. I can do that because I'm a woman. I know how a woman thinks. I know what she wants. I know what she thinks. I know what she needs. I know how to get her there. So I'm your mom. I'm going to teach you because I love you. And whatever I got inside of me is what's going to be inside of you.
Good.
Whatever's inside of me going to be inside of you. So the man got to learn how to, if you don't have a male in your family that's a stand-up man, you got to look for one. You got to search for one. Because, brother, I can't give it to you. I can nurture you. I can feed you. I can give you your name. I can tell you what's right. I can preach it to you. I can live in front of for you. But I can't teach you how to be a man. But one more thing. But now I can't slack on being a woman. Because you can only disrespect me if I let you disrespect me. You can't disrespect me unless I let you disrespect me. Because two things I got, the power to walk away and the power to never talk to you again. That's the power I got as a woman. I ain't got to say nothing to you, period. Ever. Men and women think, I got to get them straight. How you get somebody straight is to make them non-existent in your life. That's how you make somebody straight. You ain't got to open your mouth and say nothing. But we as women got to stop popping our finger and saying, yeah, Cardi B, yeah, what? You got to stop doing that. Quit buying her music. Quit looking at her on YouTube. Quit getting her views. When you see something like that coming, don't even look at it. Mess with her in her pocket. So she gonna get it right. And when she get it right, she gonna teach her daughter how to get it right. Her daughter gonna teach her daughter how to get it right. And so forth, so forth, so forth on. But we as women got a responsibility. You can't be on the stage, Beyonce sweating from the top to the bottom. You can see everything on her. We talking about she the queen bee. She ain't the queen bee, baby. She not the queen bee. How about Khadijah is the queen bee? How about Aretha Franklin? Like Aretha Franklin told Beyonce, baby, I'm the queen. Because a queen, she gonna you don't see Queen Elizabeth around here popping and jumping. You don't see that woman doing that. But look how many children she got. So she got to be taking care of business in the bedroom. But she ain't showing you what she's doing in public. But she's a queen. So quit letting your children watch that. And when they do see it, bring her back and say, look, now watch her in 2 years and see where she may be. A lot of people thought, oh, Jay-Z lover would never cheat on her. It ain't about how pretty you are, baby. It's about what you got on the inside. She can't offer that man nothing but what she doing. She can't give him nothing. She can't quote a surah. She can't quote a Bible verse to him. She can't get on her knees and pray for him to become the man that he needs to be because he's scared. But a real man looking for a real woman that's his mate, because my Quran teaches me that I'm equal to him. In certain standpoints, I'm equal.
Talk, sis.
In certain standpoints, I'm equal. And it also teaches me that I got rights as a woman that he got to give me. He got to give me my rights. But if I don't know them rights, how can I live them rights? How can I look for a man to give me them rights? Because if all of us women didn't buy no NWA, including me, because I sure went in there and said, can I get that NWA tape right there? And they said, you ain't 18, you can't get it. But if we would have not bought it, do you know we as women are the people that buy the most things? You men are bad, but you a copy from the. Let me go and get your tape right quick. Let me go and get your CD. Go and send that to me. We gonna go out and buy it, babe. Oh, I got it. So if we stop buying it, and if we stop listening, and when a man come talking that mess, you keep walking and act like he ain't standing there, it'll cut a whole lot of that out. But you got to be strong enough to do it, a woman to do it. You got to say sometimes their money he flashing ain't worth what he gonna give me at the end. So that's how I feel. That's my opinion. That's just my opinion and my truth, how I see it.
Let me go to Sister Yasmin. Yasmin, as I mentioned earlier, how our sisters could fall into the desires of what the man is looking for. And listening to my sister Amatullah, she mentioned that, you know, for all intents and purposes, it could be intentional that the sister is demonstrating this behavior in order to gain control of a situation. With that being said, how do we approach that situation to raise the bar so the sister would not have to use these type of qualities in order to control the situation? How do we get there, Sister Yasmin?
By teaching them how to love themselves first. That's the only thing that I can say, is by teaching the young ladies how to love themselves first, because you have to love yourself first in order to even bypass that type of talk, you know, because a lot of them out there are seeking love and want to be loved. They want to be cared about. And a lot of these young men out here are just out here playing. They're playing with women's emotions. What we all have as a woman, we all have emotions, and men are visual. So if the women would stop trying to gain a man by sexually enticing him, then that should let them know that if you can't get me the way I am with my mind and my heart and my soul, then you don't need me. Because I played into that before. I've been there. I'm not gonna lie. I've been there. I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm gonna tell the truth right now. I've been there. I have gave a man everything I had just for him to love me as much as I loved him. And at the end of the day, he walked right on away. Not because I didn't have what he needed. It's because he was a visual person and didn't want what I want. But I tried to make him want what I wanted by giving to him everything I could to show him that I cared just that much. And at the end, I'm the one that was boo-hooing and crying, and he just went on by himself. So I had to learn how to love myself. That's what it takes. You have to be strong enough to walk away and leave it alone and be silent. And Sister Amatula, don't say nothing else to him. That's how you win. And that's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do, especially when you love somebody and they don't love you back.
Good goodness and grace.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do.
Say, my brother Martel McCoy said the look on T face is priceless because, brother, this is a long time coming to have sisters on a platform just to keep it real, keep it a buck, and just give you raw information from experience and wisdom from experience. This is a long time coming, and we need to really, really, really push this show right here. Let me go to the Sheikahs real quick. As we talked about, being a slave to the passions, and Sister Amatula mentioned that, sisters, can use that as a weapon, weaponize it in order to control a situation. And, on the flip side, guys can also be a predator for the weakness of one that will be letting their guard down and give him everything he wants. And it is what it is. He still is going to do what he's going to do. How do in this generation today, how do you make a breakthrough, first contact with a sister who may be going down that path to please or to gain or get a brother's attention through the door of sexuality, whether it's manipulative, whether it's subjecting herself to his passion? How do you start that conversation? Because we're at the point now, and I'm going to go to Almatina Bay next. We're at the point now that how do we resolve this and change the narrative? How do we approach that? What do we say? What do you say to a sister where you can clearly see that this sister using her sexuality to get ahead or being sexually submissive because that's what the guy wants? How do we approach that conversation with the individual sister? Because at some point a conversation got to be had. Because, I think, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it one more time. I think a lot of times what happened, we sit back and watch it. We just sit back and watch it. We see this in now, in the neighborhood where our temple at, we got to approach people. We got to talk to people. We got to look at these behaviors and say something. It seems like it's like we became scared to approach. You know what I'm saying? Last but not least, I wanted to add that in this day and time, how do we break the ice to have the conversation? How does that work? Seekers.
Islam. Islam. That's a good question. um because if someone is in that state of mind, sometimes they're not going to be able to get the message right away from what you're telling them. More so, it's setting it's more setting an example. A lot of these young sisters, if they're in that situation where they're feeling that they need to give of themselves sexually, or need to, show, this that they're what they have to offer as far as their body is concerned is more is they have to present that to get the attention that they want. Um, you know, where is their mind at, and how can you just say something to get them, to change their mind around. So I think it's more of showing the example. But you you want them to love themselves, and you want to so showing them love, um listening to them, not being judgmental to them, asking them, sis, what are you doing, just get their side of the story, what's going on, because you never know what's going on in the young sister's life. Um so letting them know that you are interested in them, and just plant seeds there. It's going to try to help guide them in the direction to think, out to think that, I'm more valuable than this, than just my body. But it has to be shown more by, examples. So you have to get to, we are, and like you said, we sometimes we just ignore it because we dismiss of each other too much. You see a young sister, loud, obnoxious, rambunctious, whatever, and you'd say, "Oh, look at her," and then we just dismiss each other so much, too much, So it's just like, bringing, just showing the sister love, letting her know that you're there for her, and you're available for her, and just getting her side of the story, and talking to her. Also, what I feel is really important is how many of these sisters have a male that's in their life besides maybe their father or their uncle or somebody that really takes interest in them, just to be their friend or to be a mentor, other outside of looking at them, for reasons of trying to get with them or something sexual. Older men mentors that are just taking interest in the sister and showing her that, I love you, sis. And I just want to make sure you are right. I just want to make sure you're in a good space. How many of our young sisters have um, that example in their life? Because how many times are they approached every day, um, about somebody, trying to, on social media, somebody's trying to talk to them, and they're in the DMs, they're walking down the street, and people are trying to approach them. So this is just, they have this constant, um relationship with men, or young men that are just trying to, talk to them in that way, but not trying to just be there for them, and as a brother. Islam. um and I just would, be want to be there for the sister, and let them know that we're available, to them, and hear what's going on in their minds, and then go from there, because again, it's like, it's so much going on with these children these days. There's abuse, sexual abuse going on in the family. You really never know. Islam. I think you're muted, brother.
Sister Almatina Bay. Now, I don't know about in Arizona, but I do know in Baltimore, we have some of the most ratchet population on the planet Earth. Really. We really do. We really do. I'm talking about cuss the babies out in the grocery store. Uh-huh. Go to the grocery store. I used to hear my mother. I mean, this is real talk. Yell at my sister in her room. Now you make sure you have a bra on. A little boy. I know what no bra was. But I always remember my mother saying it to my sister. Don't you come out that room with no bra, all that type of stuff. They all in the grocery store. Their stuff flopping all around everywhere. See, we having a real conversation here. And a lot of it is, as Amatullah say, they want their mother. Because mama's supposed to have taken care of that. When we see that in our community, do we have the confidence that we can break the ice and maybe drop a seed to help mature that young sister? Because where we at now, if we don't take this situation and fix it, then social media and every other outlet is going to take it and adulterate it to the 10th power. So I'm asking you, Sister Almatina Bay, I don't know how ratchet it is in Arizona, but do we, yourself, have enough confidence to approach a sister and be able to make a breakthrough?
Islam, I think I do. I'm gonna
without offending, because that's the thing. Without offending.
Right. I'm gonna digress for just a moment, Grand Sheik. So
absolutely,
Sister Amatullah spoke on the woman being the manipulator of the situation, and we are, because we do control the man. We are the ones that dictate what the man is going to do, how the young women carry themselves. And in order to change that narrative, it starts in the home. And if you don't have anything to change that, if you're not willing to change it because you're too scared to, because of what somebody else is going to think about who you are and what you are, then who else is going to do it besides for the immediate public? They're going to teach your kid that Cardi B and everything else is okay. So don't be afraid as a woman to change that narrative. Don't be afraid to know who you are, to change that narrative. Because if you don't know who you are, I'm 44. It took me up to 40 to really figure out who I was. And I'm okay with saying that. But in that instance, I was out there with them, hanging all out the sides, the fronts, the backs, everything. But I'm okay with saying I learned from changing, like Sister Amatullah said, changing the people with like minds of what I didn't want to be, because my mom was not there to teach me. And then Sister Yasmin said it's about the self-love. If you continue to use your cookie to control the narrative, people are going to empty out that cookie jar and leave you with nothing. And you have nothing to pour into anyone, including your kids and yourself. So you have to step back and gather yourself so that you can be able to be filled again with the appropriate ingredients to better yourself as a woman. And like Sheikis Robin said, as far as being someone to become a friend, when you see someone and they are loud and obnoxious and cussing the kids out in the grocery store, hey queen, how you doing? Sometimes we don't know what goes on behind those closed doors. We don't know what those kids are doing. We don't know everything that woman has pulled her hair out from or smoked from or none of that. So you have to gain entry inside the door. If you can't gain entry inside the door, you can't control anything or the narrative of that woman and try to fix that woman, because you don't know what she's going through. And share your story. Just like most Christians, your story could be a testimony. Honey, be a testimony. Tell your truth. Don't let no one tell you that your truth is going to condemn you. Your truth can help somebody that's going through it. Be like, honey, I was there. I get it too. Take them in the bathroom. You know? So don't let somebody else control your destiny. If you want to change, you're going to change. If you don't want to change, you're not going to change. And you can't change somebody that don't want to change. Stop wasting that effort and move on to the next sister, the next queen, and help them straighten their crown.
Goodness and gracious, bomb time. Let me, my sister May, my beautiful sister May, Ride or Die, Moorish World TV, got the wrench, man, very wise sister and a strong fighter in the community of Stone Mountain, Georgia, activist, mother, wife. I mean, beautiful sister that front line on everything that's right. But I had to just look at her posts. She says young women should not be dealing with men unless marriage is the clear goal. Dating to marry, not dating for fun. And that really struck me that May said that, because I remember when I met my wife and I said, "Can I take you out on a date?" She said, "A date? I'm a Muslim. I don't date." And long story short, and I don't like to tell this story because she said she wasn't interested in me about 4 times. And so I stopped talking to her. I got mad. I did Sister Amatula. I made my decision. I ain't talking to you no more. I want to be your friend. Peace and love. And so ultimately we start talking again. And she said, "Oh no, I'm a Muslim. I don't date. Now we can court." And I say, "Well, what's the difference?" She said, "Dating, you just playing around. Courting, we going to the full extreme of matrimony." And I say, "Well, count me in." And that's how that worked. And so May was basically saying the same thing. And I think that's what have to be taught to sisters, that don't give yourself so freely, play yourself so freely to control a situation or to make a man, which you would think to be submissive of a situation. Have a goal in mind. What is that goal? And so that was my experience. Uh, you ain't dating me. You playing around dating. You go to court. Let me allow my sister Hour two that she got her finger up. So let me let her go real quick.
So I just want to share a story like Sister Amatina Bay said. I spent a long time by myself and a long time to have a child. Um, and I don't know if everybody knows. That's not the people on the platform. We all know, but the people in the chat, that as Sheikh said, we as women don't date in Islam. So when I was looking for a husband, I went to my wali, and that's the same thing that Sheikis Roberts was talking about. This man cared and loved for me like he was my father or like he was my brother. Nothing sexual, nothing like that, just making sure that I was okay and helping me understand some things and things like that. When he brought my husband to me, and we had what we call in Islam a sit down. You sit down and you talk to see with your wali to see if everything is okay. The first thing my husband said to me, he said, "You a baby Muslim. I'm gonna tell you one thing. If you let me sleep with you, I'm not gonna marry you. I'm not gonna marry you if you let me sleep with you. I'm not gonna marry you." He wasn't. I wasn't gonna do that anyway, but he was just making sure that I knew that we were gonna do this right. And the reason why I'm saying this because I want the young women to hear me. I've said this on this platform a couple of times. A man will tell you what he's about in the first 30 minutes he talks to you. When it was time for us to get married, my husband picked up the phone and said, "I know how to go get the marriage license. I've made my intentions. I'll have everything together. You just show up. You just show up being pretty and be what you need to be. You just show up." And we did not have sexual relations before we got married. We learned each other and things like that. And we were together 3 years before we had that beautiful baby, that beautiful little girl. And we got to know each other. But his main intention was to be married. Now, women, listen. If a man don't want to be married, he's not going to marry you. But a man got to want to be married. He got to want to fear God, because then he'll be committed to the situation. We as women gonna be committed in the way it go, because we are emotional creatures and we want to love that man, and we want to be committed to that man. But when a man is ready to marry you, sisters, he's going to marry you. I want all of y'all to understand. And you shouldn't be looking for a man to date. You need to be looking for a man that is worthy to marry you, not just any man. That's why Taharka, you had to wait a little while, because she had to see, was you worthy?
That what she said. I'm a thriller. I'm the people's grand sheik. Who she thinks she talking to? I'm the more you gonna remember. Be turning me down. So I went silent for about 2 months or a month, whatever it was. I had no rap. I was like, me? Moi? Courting? Moi? Let me say this real quick. Family. Tomorrow we're gonna bring Sister Rashida back tomorrow. She wants to respond to Brother Ali Muhammad. Brother Ali Muhammad did a video in response to her. In relation to the, y'all remember that? Press 7 if y'all remember that. The sister was on here and she had the page on IG, et cetera, et cetera. Well, she says she wants to respond. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of the questions out of Ali's Muhammad's presentation of his response, and she wants to respond. She feels as though that he went too far, went over the top, and left her with no other choice but to respond. So we're going to have that tomorrow. So I hope I see you here tomorrow with that. Now back to our panel. Let me get the Sister Almatina Bay.
Islam, I was looking at some of the chats while you were talking, and I noticed a lot of comments about mental health and my statement as far as starting in the home. Starting in the home doesn't start with the moms that are 20, because whatever they learn from their moms that were injured and traumatic stress and all of that, from their moms. The mother's curse and the daughter's curse, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on. When do you stop the generational curse? When do you heal from your mental illness? When do you seek help? Everybody has it, male and female. We all have it. So when you address that and you want to change, then you're able to change. And just like Amatullah, as far as marriage and dating, some people, they date. That's fine. But if you continue to lead with your cookie or lead with the thing between your legs, that's what you're gonna get, and it's gonna empty you out.
So I don't want to listen. I mean, I want everybody to come back here and we touch some other subjects. I want to try to keep this going if I can. I know on Saturday, I have my brother from the Kemetic community here in Baltimore. We're going to be in studio. Hopefully we'll be in studio if I'm hardwired. If we're not hardwired there, I'm going to go to his location and we're going to go live from there. But I would love to bring the sisters back and maybe talk about Sister Amatullah's journey as a Muslim, Sister Yasmin journey in the NOI, and the Moorish sisters' journey as Moorish Americans that could possibly inspire some sisters. Because don't y'all seem like the sisters are being like sidelined from this social media influence? You ever go on these channels? It's always brothers and brothers and brothers and brothers and brothers and brothers and brothers. We get the debating about this. We get the going back and forth about that. But you very rarely see sincere sisters. When we looked at and I covered the story about Nepal, we look in that and we see that there's a contradiction in behavior right there. When I look at some of these sisters that been on the panel with our brother over there with Black News, we'll begin to see filthy talk, cursing every 5 words. I mean, it's just raggedy. And so I think this is very important that we keep this thing going. And so if Sister Yasmin, Amatullah, Shigas Robin, and Almatina, we do shows and break it down and allow the people to be inspired, because who knows? One might want to go your path, One might want to go your path. One might want to go your path. One might want to go your path. So let me start with Sis Yasmin. Sis Yasmin, in
Yeah.
closing, if you could say something that could inspire our young sisters to unfold into their greater self, what advice would you give them and where to start from?
That's a good question.
Because
That's a very good question.
hey, sis, they ratchet here in Baltimore too, so
Oh,
that's something
wow.
that we must consider.
Stop following everybody. Do what's right. You know, right. Everybody knows right from wrong. And they will stop trying to follow the trend and what they see other people do. They might be better off. You know, I try to tell my daughter to be herself, be outspoken, but also know what you're talking about.
Right.
Educate yourself. I know people say, you know, school is a joke and it costs so much money these days, but you shouldn't stop educating yourself. My daughter went from wanting to be a doctor, now she wants to be a nurse. I encourage her. And I encourage her to do her research. And every young lady should have a goal set for themselves. And we always tell them to love themselves. We got to tell them how to love themselves. What does it mean? Get to know these kids. It's not hard to talk to them. I approach a lot of people. I approach homeless people. It doesn't matter to me. I know how to conduct myself in certain situations because I've been there. And I know what to look for. And I just hope that later on this year, maybe things will start looking up because I'm tired of looking at Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion and Lil Uzi and Vert and all that kind of stuff. If they would just stop putting all these music videos on TV that's portraying sex, drugs, and killing, I think we'll all be all right. Or if we can just talk to them and say, try to get a better understanding of why they like it. Maybe they can teach me something and I can teach them something, and then maybe we can come to an agreement
How
to
about
better ourselves.
how about
Okay.
how
All right.
about that? How about that? How about that? Now let's go around the circle real quick. Sister Almatula. You being a Muslim sister for over 20 years. What methodology, and this is for those Muslim sisters out there that are garbed up and we are in the community, and if we decide to assist young sisters who what we would call unconscious or not affiliated with an organization or something like that, how would you approach that situation to break the ice with the conversation? Because I say that to say, sis, and hopefully people are listening to this because I know you're going to drop some good wisdom on this one. I say that to say, I say it because, you know, people will look at me a certain way because if I approach them with a fez on, Sister Robin or Almatina with turban on, and you garbed up, how do you approach that?
Well,
And again, let me say, and again, for the young Muslim sisters that want to be active, that's why this question is important.
well, I can only tell them my story. Um, I have a lot of young sisters that work with me on my job. I'm a nurse. And this one particular man always says, "Why I can't see your face? Why I can't see your face? Why I can't see your face?" And the young girls, I felt them behind me looking, waiting for me to answer their question to hear what I had to say. And I just simply told him, I said, "Why do you need to see my face?
Hmm.
My actions should tell you who I am. My character should speak for me." And I would tell those young girls, if they're wanting to come in this direction or they're just curious about it, first of all, this is not an oppression. Nobody makes us wear this. This is something that we believe, well, let me stop saying we. I believe from reading Authentic Hadith by Abu Bakr, that we are supposed to cover our most beautiful parts. And the first thing that somebody looks at as a woman is her face. It is also a source of protection. Um, one more life story. I love Philadelphia. Oh my God, I love Philadelphia. And my husband took me there because I just kept bugging. I said, baby, I really like Philadelphia. You know, it's a lot of black Muslims in Philadelphia. So he took me and we went to this store called Medina. I don't know if any of y'all heard of it. But we went to Medina, went in the store. I went over there, saw all these niqabs. I just left my husband and went over there. So something said, go back and check on your husband. I turned around and all the husbands were standing at the counter. So I got to the counter with my stuff, and my husband bought my stuff, and we came out the store. I said, babe, he said, what? I said, why were y'all all standing at the counter? He said, oh, I'm so glad you asked me that. He said, I went to touch a woman. I thought it was you, but she wasn't you. But she looked like you. He said, then I saw another woman. I went to call your name. He said, but I said, that might not be my wife because I couldn't tell none of y'all apart. He said, and I went to the counter men and said, just stand up here. The women will come to you. So I'm saying this to say this to you. A man should love you for the information that you have. Our religion says it's 5 things. It's beauty, religion, riches, knowledge, and faith. But the 2 you should be looking for is her religion and her faith. So for you to look past all of this, I have to be able to give you something that you will see my character, my loyalty to Allah, my obedience to Allah. Because if I can't be obedient to Allah, how can I be obedient and submissive to you? If I don't know how to love on Allah, how can I know how to love on you? So I would say to the young women, if this is the path that you want to go, it's not going to be easy, but it's worth it. It's worth it for not just a man, but for people to look at you and love you for who you are. Nobody at my job has ever seen my face, even though my ID does not have my face. But when they see me come, they say, "There go Amatula, we're going to have a good night tonight. We're going to have a real good night tonight because Amatula going to make sure that all the patients stay asleep so we can have a good night tonight." So that's what I would say to the young women. Love yourself enough to let your character walk for you, talk for you, and the things that you do that are good to walk for you and talk for you, and not how you look on the outside. But baby, it's all about how you look on the inside and how you are on the inside. That's what I would say to a young lady.
Indeed. And I hope I didn't offend anybody with this flyer, but what I wanted to show is that the queen's on top and this behavior is beneath us. And we need to raise these sisters up. I think this is a beautiful collection of our sisters right here. You know, I mean, even the sisters that are demonstrating the ratchet behavior, you know, I mean, this imagery right here, it speaks volumes. You know, when I put a flyer together, I literally put it together to send a message. You know what I mean? And to a lot of people, they was like, well, you mix that, you mix this and with that, because I want to cause thought to take place. I want to cause people to start thinking, why did he do that with it? So a lot of people like my imagery. They like, man, well, you make some great, man, where you get these ideas from? Because I want to cause people to think. So in closing, let's go back around and close this out real quick. In closing, let's start with Almatina Bay. Almatina Bay, anything that you want to say in closing, and I'm gonna go with you, Sister Yasmin, Amatullah. Anything you like to say in closing to next time?
Just be you. Like, if you can learn to love you and learn to love what's in the mirror, then you can show that outwardly and be who you are, and don't allow anyone to scare you into that. Be who you are, know who you are, and love that.
Indeed. How about Sister Amatullah? Any parting words, sis, until you return?
I just want to say to all of the sisters, because we are the teachers, because we lead in some special way, let's make sure that we leading correctly. Let's not move into situations in our life as mothers or wives until we have some information and we know what we're about to go through so that we can be happy within ourselves. Because another person can't make you happy. You got to be happy by yourself first. And then you'll know how to look for someone that is happy too, that is whole too, that is ready too, so that we can come together and teach our nation like we used to do, so that we can come out of all this thinking that sex drives everything and all those things there. We can put things back into their proper place and we will be able to talk to the girls. But first, we got to walk it and live it, because you can't talk to nobody and you doing the same thing. You can't be puffing on the toilet talking about, girl, you need to love Allah. I still love my leg, what about to lie? But hold on, let me get this right here. You can't do that and think she gonna listen to you. You gotta truly have it on the inside. You gotta truly walk it, and you can't be faking. Assalamu alaikum. No, that's not who you are. If you just
They
like
put the
me,
accent on there.
yeah. If you just like me, be like
Oh
me.
no,
Assalamu
how they
alaikum,
do it?
girl. You know, just
And
be
you know
who
you're gonna
you
get in
are.
trouble for that. I get in trouble for that all the time. I be cross the person. They get mad at me. But I be putting emphasis on because people be faking and fronting. So I said stop. You gonna get us in trouble. Go ahead, carry on.
But I just want young women to know it's okay to be yourself. You don't have to follow anybody or be like anybody. Be yourself. I always teach my 2-year-old. My mama said, "How you know she like purple?" I said, "Because every time I put something in her crib, she grabbed the purple thing first. She grabbed the purple thing first. So be who you are. Like what you like. Understand who you are as a woman, so you'll know what you need as a man. In a man, and you'll know what you need to keep yourself going and to be able to teach the other generation. Please, women, we can do it. It might be hard, but we can do it, and we are going to help each other. We are going to help each other.
Let me
Assalamu
get
alaikum.
Walaikum salam. I'm gonna get to Sister Yasmin in a minute, but I want to answer to the amalgamated more. This is what I will be remiss if I didn't respond to this. He says, I think you should put sisters that live that lifestyle. Those sisters look like they never walked that path. I don't
Wait a
think
minute.
they
Oh,
imagine.
wait a minute.
Oh,
Wait
hold
a
up,
minute.
Sister Albatula. Hold up, Sister Albatula. This is the problem. Because one turned their life from that path, and they are so polished and shining like a diamond, they give the impression that they never lived that life or never walked that life or never interacted in that life. So amalgamated more, what you're doing is giving these sisters a compliment of the great transition and the mercy that Allah have showed on them to give them one more day to get it right. This is actually a compliment because these sisters didn't wake up with burqas on, didn't wake up with turbans on, didn't wake up with the poise of Sister Yasmin. They didn't wake up like that. They arrived to that. So this is actually a compliment. But Sister Almatula, she wanted to say something. So let me let her say something real quick and then get Sister
I
Yasmin.
don't know what your name was, but if you can't tell about how I talk, how ratchet I used to be, and how I'm from straight from the ghetto, from out the project, baby, I'm telling you, I am telling you.
Oh, she doing
Some
like
of
it.
these,
She snatching the air.
some of these girls, I could teach them a thing or two about the streets. I promise you I could. But I I thank Allah that he brought me into the light and showed me a better way. So the women that I can influence them right. Because I promise you, this right here is a story walking.
Come on now.
Truly should have been dead. I'm telling you, me, oh, I was ratchet. I truly should have been dead. I was real ratchet. Because y'all talking about California and y'all talking about the East. Baby, I come from down south in the projects, Memphis, Tennessee. And if you don't know about no Memphis woman, you better listen to Gangsta Pac now. When they tell you can't take the woman out of North Memphis and North Memphis out the woman, I'm from North Memphis. I grew up with them. I grew up doing some of the things that Cardi B thinks she can do that I did better than her. So I want you to understand all of this didn't come like that. It didn't come like this. So, brother, salam to you. But I want you to know we all had a story and been through something. But like you said, it's a compliment to me. I thank you that you think I'm so polished, because I got a long way to go.
Indeed, indeed. Let me get my sister Yasmin. Yasmin, any parting words to share with everybody?
Yes, I just want to let you know that I really did enjoy this tonight. I really did need this. And that last comment from whomever that was, thank you.
Absolutely, Sis Yasmin,
Because
because he
I've
must
been,
haven't watched the show. How much wisdom that you have put on this show. Tashika's Robin is new to the show. Al Matina is new on the panel, but they're always in the audience, I'm sure. But the wisdom
yes,
that you and Amatula have hit that link and put on this show, you got to be kidding me.
and I've been growing since 2014, so I still have a long ways to go. So thank you for that compliment, because you don't know where I came from. You really don't. But
Indeed.
I love it, and it makes me feel good that he said that.
That
You know,
that and then let me read it again real quick. Let me read it
it
again.
makes
He
yes,
says that it seemed like y'all never walked that. Good
never.
gracious. How
Yeah,
you how you come up with that? But hey,
it was a
it's a
hard way
compliment.
for me.
Thank you, Amalgamated Boy. That's a compliment.
It really is, because I have come a long way, a
Indeed.
very long way, and I'm still trying, and I'm still going, and I'm 54 years old, and I'm proud of it.
Man,
That's right.
I'm loving this show tonight. I don't care if
I
we got
love it.
25 people here. We gonna
That's
do this
right.
again. Um,
That's right.
Thank you so much, Sister Yasmin. I'm going to be
Thank
calling on you
you.
real soon.
Thank you.
Let me get the Sheikahs in, and thank you, Sheikahs Robin EZLL for coming on here. You know my baby, the baby, try to prohibit you from doing things like this, and all the sacrifice that you make. Um, so I want you to drop something on us that um, can stick with us as all the sisters did, and take us to the next time we return.
Islam. Thank you for having me, Brother Taharka Bey, and it was an honor to be here on this panel with you sisters. In order to have your experience is what gives you wisdom. So, if it appears that you know us sisters have not been in that type of lifestyle or lived a certain type of life, it's again, it's your experiences that give you that wisdom. And I would say to the young sisters, um, to again, yeah, be yourself, and make sure that you nurture your talents, nurture anything that it may be, your writing, your artwork, your poetry, your love for nature, your love for whatever it is. Nurture that talent. And I don't know what happened. We used to play with Barbie dolls and things when we were younger, but I mean, it's okay to be a child. It's okay to be a young person. Go out to the movies, have fun. Go. Why you gotta, be, having, boyfriends and well, just be. It's okay to be fun, because that it comes once you start, wanting to be act like an adult, then you have the adult responsibilities. So I have a 21-year-old and a 24-year-old, and they live with me and my daughters, and they have a blast. They're educated. They go out of town. They've been to Barbados. They just do everything, and they have fun. They're not tied down to in a relationship with anybody. They're just loving themselves, getting to know themselves, and taking care of themselves first. And that's what we should be doing: having fun and living your life, and not worrying about being in a relationship. My mother told me, always to say to me, "You're gonna be in love 18 times before you find the one." So you might as well just spend all that time wasted on yourself. And I'll say this also, there's that the responsibility isn't always on the woman as far as how she is presenting herself, because if men, I mean, if if men weren't attracted to these things, to the women's showing their bodies and things of that sort, we wouldn't do it. If men were more so saying, okay, sis, I want you to cover, I want you to be modest, or I want you to wear your hair a certain way. We do these things for men. These are the things that are attracting them. So we can't put all the onus on the woman. And sisters, young sisters, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the mistakes if you've made. Don't allow your mistakes to own you or to put a label on who you are. You are divine being. You are beautiful. And no matter what you do, again, like the brother said in the chat, that we look like, we didn't never live that life. But let me tell you, I've been down a journey, I've been down a road, and it got me here to this point where I'm at in my life. And I couldn't, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing because it made me who I am. But if you have somebody that can help support you, and help nurture your talents and abilities, find somebody that that would help you in the positive walk of life. And again, forgive yourself, love yourself, and nurture yourself. Islam. And with that, I'll yield the floor back over to our brother.
So family, I appreciate y'all. And like I said, I want to do this again. And I want to be able to underscore your journey that could actually help some sisters. Because if the sisters ain't right, then we ain't going to get right. That's just what it is. If the sisters ain't right, we ain't going to get right. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Peace and love. Islam to my Moorish sisters. Assalamu alaikum to my sister Amatullah. Peace and love to my sister Yasmin. Assalamu alaikum. And again, family, we're going to do this again, but don't go nowhere. As they leave out, family, we're going to talk about some shows that's coming up, and we're about to get busy. You feel me? And let me thank Yasmin for the Cash App. And thank all of y'all who hit, the super chat. And thanks all of y'all who hit the Cash App. Some people like to be anonymous, and let me tell you that I appreciate it. I really thank you. I tell people all the time, whether it's $1 or whether it's $2 or $3, $5, whatever it is, this is a perpetual building process. You know what I'm saying? We here in Baltimore are trying to centralize our uplifting efforts. You follow what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure that Amatullah goes to a mosque that could possibly use a donation every now and again. You see what I'm saying? And so whenever you are able to give out of what has been provided to you by your creator, it's always a beautiful thing to share, especially when you're dealing with positive people that's moving in a positive direction, because you already know that they're going to spread the love into their community. And so again, thank you, my sister May, the alchemist, and everybody here. I appreciate y'all, and I see y'all tomorrow again. Let's not forget, tomorrow we have Sister Rashida in the building, and she going to be addressing Ali Muhammad. So Sister Abatullah, we might get a little ratchet, but I will not let her use foul language tomorrow. The first show I give you a pass, but the second show you cannot use foul language, because that's not what we do here on Moorish World TV. We should be able to articulate ourselves without nonsense coming out of our mouth. We can get angry, we can get emotional, but we should never, ever, ever use gutter potty mouth to express ourselves. So with that being said, thank you, everybody. I see y'all tomorrow, 9:30 or 10 o'clock tomorrow. Thank you for my guests, and we'll be back here tomorrow. I'm going to be the more you going to remember. You better know it.
I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. That's right. I'll be there more you gon' remember. Taharka Bay front line till the law call my number. You a friend of the Moors, then you's a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those that speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you you wasn't black, proved it with straight facts. You tripping off trucks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. Family, see y'all tonight, 9:30. Let's go. I'll be there more you gon' remember. I'ma be there more you gon' remember. I'll be there more you gon' remember. Taharka Bay front line till the law call my number.
He says Taharka Bay? Toronto Johnson? I call for a Moorish court on brother Toronto Johnson. And anybody who's riding with him with this scandal with these videos of me and my wife frauding the people.
Check it.
I never saw my brothers and sisters serving these packages when I was with Daweed Ali and them and Taj and them used to come to Chicago.
I laid them old boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway. Sleepwalking, they keep talking. I probably catch a charge and I don't care what any say. Yeah, I'm the people's grand sheik, and the people's grand sheik ain't seen a man I can't beat. Only the gods is my equal. You mortals, you just my sequel. You just my sequel. What the 85ers? Dip divers? Trying to symbolize us? You already dead. Who done got up in your head? Rent free. You wanna know who sent me? Who sent you? Leg, head. I tried to pull you out the bed, but you got up all groggy. Started talking real crazy, eyes foggy. Couldn't see through the fog. Then I had to bring the dogs, barking all up in your ear, acting like you don't care. Oh, you don't care? Like you don't preserve life. Oh yeah. And you really don't care, right? Oh, you don't care, right? Well, we gon' really check that, bet that, respect that. Since you said you ain't scared to die. I laid them young boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway. I laid them old boys to rest. They was sleepwalking anyway. I'm the people's grand sheik. I ain't seen a man I can't beat. I laid them young boys to rest. They was sleepwalking anyway. I would take you on any day. Michigan, New York, Cali, where you at? What you thought? From that town to Baltimore, everybody on the road is all raw. They ready, choppers. I don't really think you want the problem. Hold up, wake the thought up. Back to Allah. Head. I try to get him out the bed. Get him up. Sleepwalking anyway. Sleepwalking anyway. Wake up. Keep talking. Sleepwalking anyway. Wake up. I don't care what any say. Nobody. I'm the people's grand sheik, and the people's grand sheik. I ain't seen a man I can't beat. Never. You mortals, you just my sequel. You mortals, you just my sequel. Only equals is the gods. You mortals, that's my sequel. I see dead people. Hey. I see dead people. I lay them old boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway.
I never saw my brothers and sisters serving these packages when I was with Daweed
I lay them young boys to rest. They was dead sleep anyway. Hey, people I ain't never met a man that I can't beat. No, the gods is my only equal.